Perfect.
Let me just sort out the lighting. Is that too light?
I think it's good. What about you guys?
It's good. Yeah.
How fun. Hey, Daisy. Hey, Dory.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing great.
Hi, Dara.
Hi, Juliana.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. Good, thanks. It's early for a lot of you. For me, it's 2:00.
It's 11 for me.
It's 11. Hey, it's not only a holiday weekend, but it's also, during this coronavirus that anything goes.
Right.
Time is very flexible.
Right, it's
That's
true.
right. That's right.
How funny. So what were you going to say?
I made the whiskey sours last night from the list of recipes, and they turned out great.
Oh, yeah, Ollie, from the recipes that you put on the page for the spring cocktails.
Yeah, they work well.
Very well. It was a hit, especially for me.
Oh, good. So everyone, are we all connected? I know, let me see, Deborah was trying to join. I don't know if she's in. Deborah, are you on right now? No, maybe she was having trouble connecting, but yeah, so Ollie, nice to meet you. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, ladies. Lovely to meet you too. A real happy hello from the UK and the Cotswolds.
Yes, we all wish we could be there in person. We'll get there soon, but
we do hope so.
Beautiful, beautiful place.
We certainly miss our visitors.
Yeah, I bet.
It's very quiet in the, as you can imagine, the kind of chocolate box villages and surrounding market towns. They're very, very quiet at the moment, but we hope to welcome you all back soon.
Yes, we look forward to visiting. And do you live right near the distillery?
Yes, I do. I live just 6 miles away, right on actually the north tip of the Cotswolds. In fact, just down the road from where the first English Civil War against the parliamentarians and the royalists was presented, just at the foot of the Edge Hill. So we're very lucky where we are. It's absolutely beautiful part of the country.
Wow, yes. And Deborah, I see Deborah, she's the author of the book, A Bitter Feast. Have you read it yet, Ollie?
I haven't, not yet, no. I've got several books that I've been ploughing through over quarantine, and I'll certainly look into that one very shortly.
Yeah, yeah, Deborah, can you hear us? Are you there?
I can. Can you hear me?
You sound you kind of sound like you're in a fishbowl, but I can kind of hear you. Better now.
Okay, is that better?
Yes, perfect.
Okay.
Hello, welcome.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us as well.
I'm thrilled to be here.
Oh, well, it's so fun how your idea has, spun off into so many different places and categories, including, the culinary world. So it's wonderful. And did you say you've been to the Cotswolds Distillery specifically?
I have. I visited twice. The first time I just kind of walked around and saw the visitor center, and the second time I actually took the tour of the distillery, which was wonderful.
Oh, nice. And does Ollie look familiar, or maybe he wasn't there that day?
I think I would have remembered.
Well, thank you very much.
Next time.
Definitely. It was one of the highlights of a couple of visits to the Cotswolds, and obviously I was crazy about Cotswold gin, so.
Oh, well, we can't. Beautiful. And yeah, and even, Deborah, descriptions of the different drinks. what kind of inspired me to try and find you guys at the distillery and get in touch and learn a bit more. And first of all, I have a quick question. Now, gin with grapefruit, am I just clueless here in America, or is that a British thing?
Well, I mean, it really started from what was lemon peel specifically. Certainly, when kind of gin would set the scene as a Geneva, lemon peel was pretty easy to get, in fact. But this is a relatively new style or new concept of citrus. So, you know, Bombay, they use lime and lemon. But it is quite a unique, a lot of kind of last 5 years, a lot of distilleries have started to use something a bit different, which is grapefruit. It just gives you a lovely bittersweet flavor profile and works really well with certainly the botanicals in the gin.
Yeah, and that's where I first read about it with Deborah, was in your book. Is that something you first had while you were there?
Yeah, it was. I was in the, trying to remember which pub it was that I was served. Oh, it was the Red Lion in Long Compton, actually, and I was served Cotswold dry gin with a twist of grapefruit, and it was fabulous.
Well, that's what, as I was reading it, I thought that sounds so refreshing and so delicious. And then when I found the distillery on your website, the first thing that popped up was the beautiful photo of, you know, the gin bottle and then the glass with the grapefruit. So
yeah, the perfect serve, and that was really where it came from, in the fact that, you know, when we try and embellish gin and tonics or even cocktails, you know, as you know yourself, you know, it's a lovely craft distillery, and they've spent a long time flavor profiling a product. So there's a lot of effort goes into it, and then we just slug it with tonic and pick some lemon.
No tonic for me.
Yeah, too true. I like a bit of soda, actually. But you know, this, in fact, you know, 9 botanicals, the citrus is lime and grapefruit. Try and complement something that's already in there rather than adding another flavor, because the distillers have made this, you know, to even drink on its own. And uniquely, it's non-chill filtered, which doesn't mean a lot to you, I'm sure, but it basically means that the oils from the process of the botanicals are still in the gin. So you'll get this lovely pearlescent, cloudy reaction in a gin and tonic, or even if you put it with ice. And that's quite unique for a gin to present that way as a non-chill filter, because traditionally it's always been filtered. And that, again, dates back to when gin was first distilled. Amazingly, gin was more pure than water at one stage. And the only way you would identify its purity would be if it was clear. And obviously ours isn't, but it just means it's got a bang load more flavour in it than most other gins. So grapefruit, it complements it completely. And even a fresh bay leaf brings out this kind of cool herbal flavour as well. So as you kind of explore the drink, you're going through different experiences every time you take a refreshing sip. So rather than just a pool of water at the end, you've actually got this infusion that highlights some of the botanicals. So yeah, grapefruit's a real good choice.
Well, I wish we were able to all, you know, do a tasting together of your specific gin right now.
I have some. I could go pour.
Oh, that's perfect.
A glass.
Oh, that's great. And also, I think Melissa picked some up at the liquor store near her yesterday. I can't get it in Rhode Island personally yet, but I have to work on, you know, making some friends or finagling a way to get a bottle to try myself. But yeah, would love to.
So supply and demand. Supply and demand. Keep on at
get it in Texas. Yeah, after I first tried it, I couldn't get it in Texas, and then when I was in the UK in November and I was flying home, I was so excited because it was in duty free. Yes. And then I got home and saw it in my neighborhood liquor store. So we do have it here in Texas.
That's
yeah, I mean, obviously our founder's from New York, so it was Dan. It was very specific that he would be able to have it available for you guys over in the States. So, but it's hard work. It really is. Each state has its own specific rules and regulations, so it takes a lot of time and effort to get the product in. But we're working hard, and we've got a guy on the ground based around New York as well. So he's Brett, and he does a fantastic job. He's been with us since day one as well. One of Dan's partners.
Right. And you do already deliver to, I think, what is it, about 8 states right now?
Yeah, I think,
addition to New York?
and increasing, yeah.
Well,
How
that's
about
great.
California?
Yes, I
Yeah.
think so.
I'm pretty sure I'm about 99% sure we're in California.
Cool.
But yeah, go on our website and you'll find, just type in Cotswolds Distillery, and give us a shout, or it'll point you in the right direction at least.
Oh yeah, I just see here Total Wine has it here near me in California.
Well, they might not have it in Colorado, though.
Oh, we'll find a way to get you some. Don't worry. We'll have an underground, sharing system. We'll work out. But yes, so Ollie, you're going to show us how to make the Cotswold Garden, right?
Yes, very excited about this. So this was our flagship cocktail. When I first started with the distillery back in 2015, probably about maybe 6 or 7 months before it opened, I popped down there. I actually run a cocktail company around the Cotswolds for a lot of private venues, private clients, stately homes, that kind of gentry and high-end customer profile. So we approached the distillery and said, we'd love to take your product. Like probably you around the States, you have an emphasis on local produce. It really enhances what you're able to offer, and there's a story to be told. So I basically went and met Dan, and that's where the relationship started, really. And then I offered my advice. I hired out my cocktail bartenders, to run events for the distillery. And here we are today on a call to the States. So it's incredible. The journey's just been fantastic. And when I first started to go out sampling products, especially the gin, because obviously the whiskey came 3 years later, back in 2017. So we only really had the gin and some other unique flavors and liqueurs. So this was really something I wanted to share with the rest of the world, if you like. So we did a lot of samplings, and it really affected me when someone said, oh, I don't like that, or I don't like gin. That was always the thing. I did a bit of research into it. What was it basically that they didn't like? And often it was a bad experience on Gordon's gin. So for those,
I had one of those.
Those guys drinking back when Gordon's was the only gin, really. Obviously stealing gin from mother and father, and all that kind of story. So we had a lot of experience there, but also it was in fact the dryness. We don't really use, as we edge into kind of our late 20s, 30s, we start to really appreciate the dryness and stimulate the bitters in our palate. Before then, it's all our front receptor, it's the sweet. And that's why sugar is such a successful additive in everything we eat and drink, everything we consume. So I basically thought, well, why don't we just sweeten this up a bit and create kind of a quintessential English drink at the same time, from the Cotswolds. So that's really where the Cotswolds garden was born. It was a combination of the gin, fresh cloudy apple. That cloudy apple was also pressed in the Cotswolds, so it was a local entity. We had elderflower liqueur. Again, this is widely available. I think Saint Germain is probably what you would have over in the States. And a bit of lime juice. And the lime juice basically balanced that sweetness. In many cocktails, like the lady was saying, she had a sour last night, and the perfect balance between sweet and sour and that citrus, it's just a wonderful feeling on the palate. And then it's obviously carried across with the effects of the alcohol as well. So it's all about balancing. And funny enough, the lime juice stimulates the saliva glands. in your palate, and it makes you want more. It becomes a moreish experience. So it's just about having that balance really in the cocktail. Yeah, it's a beautiful drink. It's one that you can just put into the glass, give it a stir. I'm going to do it a bit. I'm going to show off tonight, but that's my prerogative. We're gonna shake one up for you. So yeah, you can just put it in the glass, or even better, put it in a pitcher like a jug, multiples of, and then stick it in the fridge and pull it out when you want it, because the sugars in there will stabilize the cocktail, so you won't get the separation from citric acid and alcohol, which you often get when it's just those two components. So yeah, are you guys want me to shake one up for you?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're a scientist.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done a bit on food technology and flavor profiling. I'm a great believer in it. It's as I explained, there's a lot of hidden flavors that are in these products, and when I get to see them from process to finish, you can unlock some of those little hidden flavors, and it's really, really good fun for that to happen. And often with new products as well, like the new one, which is the wildflower gin.
That looks beautiful.
It's incredible, and they've used the cornflower, the lavender, the orange, the rhubarb root in there as well, and then the typical juniper, coriander, and angelica. But it's this lovely, vibrant red, a bit like the April that you've mentioned in the book as well, which I'm really looking forward to discussing, actually. But shall I get shaken a cocktail? So this is the English Garden. So I'm just gonna shake it up. So we've got the mixing jar. So we often use a Boston shaker in the trade, which is the tin, and we present that to the guests that come into the bar. With this one, I'm going to try and do it in ounces. Obviously, we do it in the milliliters in the UK, but I should be able to convert them. So with this one, we're going to use gin. This is my jigger. This is a 50 ml and a 25, so multiples of. And I'm going to put 50 ml in, which works out, I believe, to be about 1.5 ounces. So, already, from the gin, you get this aroma, which is obviously from the aromatics of the lavender, but very subtle. It's not like your sock drawer kind of perfumed lavender, and then you've got that juniper spice coming through, which is absolutely delicious. But the real lift of citrus, because would you believe they hand peel all the citrus? So they actually hand peel the lime and grapefruit. Over 100 of each every week, and put that in the distillation. So we've got 50 ml of Cotswolds gin. This is the elderflower liqueur. Now, would you believe I made this myself? At this time of year, we've got elderflowers. They're all coming out. They're all springing out onto the elderflower bushes and trees. So all I do is I go and pick the elderflower. I take the stalks off, put it into neutral grain spirit, like a vodka, and leave it there for a couple of days.
Oh, hang on.
Are we still on?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. So there's 25 ml of the elderflower, which works out about 3/4 of an ounce. And then we've got the lime juice. So I'm going to do about 12.5 ml. This works out to about 1/2 ounce. And I've got a little squeezer here, so I'm going to place that in. Little tip if you are using one of these, just cut the end off the lime, because it comes out a lot better. So rather than squeezing like that, so 1/2 lime, just take the end off and it'll channel in a lot better. So that's about 12.5. And again, it's balancing, we've got a liqueur in there now, which is a sugary liqueur. And it's about just balancing that citrus. Then we've got the fresh cloudy apple juice. I've just decanted it into a Cotswold bottle. This again is based in the Cotswolds, so a local apple juice. I tend to go for a medium sweet, so something that has about 10.5 grams of sugar in. I don't want too much sugar. I always find sugar's just cheating. You know, you can come up with so many different sweeteners, you know, from agave to honey, you know, so many different ways. So that's our cocktail ready to be shook. We shake it basically for 3 reasons. To look good. No, not to look good. Sometimes, maybe. Yeah, I'll let you judge that one. So we've got to mix the ingredients. We cool it. And then obviously with the aeration, you're going to unlock a lot of flavor profiles because you're maximizing the flavor profile of each and every ingredient by that aeration. Add the icing. And then we're going to shake. I usually stand up for this, but I'm going to sit down. So basically, we just attach those two together. Often at home, we have like a 3-piece shaker, which is nice and easy. You just shove it all in and give it a good shake. But as I said, you can just build this cocktail as well. And we're going to shake. And what we want to see is a lovely frosting on the shaker. I do it between maybe 12 to 14 times. A good hard shake, and you get that lovely frosting. And we know that that's already chilled to go. I'm going to put some ice in the glass. So that's our lovely gin glass, a copa glass, which we also call a balloon glass, I suppose. And then I've got my Hawthorne strainer, and we are going to pour the cocktail into the glass.
Beautiful.
Absolutely delicious. I wish you guys could get those aromas. Gorgeous.
I wish we could. Too.
You probably want more than the aromas.
Right.
And then to embellish, I've got basically cucumber. Again, what's more quintessential than cucumber? And I have got lots of viola, which are these related to the pansy. And they're actually edible. So you can fully immerse yourself in this cocktail and completely enjoy it.
So
and
pretty.
that, ladies, I don't know if you can see that very well, but
Gorgeous.
that is our Cotswold.
Gorgeous.
Cheers.
Beautiful. Cheers. I do.
Cheers.
I brought my supplies. I don't have the proper gin. I have Hendrix, but
Perfect.
I've got
Absolutely
some.
perfect.
So afterwards, I'm going to attempt it.
Yeah, again, you know what? With Hendrix, you've got a real quality gin. You know, they're really investing in the botanical profile. So what they do, which basically blew open the door of botanicals and processes. They distill the gin, but then after the distillation, they add rose and cucumber to it, the flavors. So they opened up the world, really. So hats off to Hendrix. They are really a fantastic product and a good quality gin. But obviously the Cotswolds comes out on top.
It's the best, of course. And taste-wise, is there another company we may have tried before that you would compare it to?
It's quite unique, really. I mean, it hasn't got the freshness of Hendrix because it's basically that chill filter, like I explained earlier. It's that oily, that louche, that flavor that comes out on top every single time. I mean, I obviously with my own cocktail company, I run with all and every product, but this really does come out on top. And if I was to compare maybe like a Monkey 47, which is a German gin from the Black Forest, which is a very complex, obviously 47 botanicals. You're never going to be able to pick out every single one, but it's got that same presentation, that same quality, if you like. So yeah, maybe a Hendrix or a Monkey 47 would suit the comparison.
Nice.
Ollie, is the new Wildflower gin similar to Hendrix Midsummer gin?
Not really. I would say again, it's a very unique product. I mean, I think I've got it here. Look. So, I mean, look at that. I mean, it's
It's gorgeous.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
I mean, that's the wildflower, because the flowers, they're actually grown in the Cotswolds. You know, like we use the lavender in the Cotswolds dry gin. It's just grown. I don't know if you ever got to. Well, you must have gone to Broadway. And on top of Broadway Hill is Snow's Hill, and that's these beautiful English lavender fields. So what they also grow is wildflowers, and that's where we get them from. So this, I mean, it's such a unique. It's almost like a herbal marmalade, because you've got that kind of tartness to it, but the orange flavour as well, and then obviously the subtle hints of flower, the lavender and the cornflower. But I mean, this was so exciting because, believe it or not, this was like gold dust at the distillery, and then we locked down, and I couldn't get my hands on it for weeks. And then I finally got it, and I'm doing a lot of cocktail profiling with these at the moment. So this is a really interesting product because it works with typically lemon and honey, even rosemary and apricots, passion fruit. So this is going to really open up the book of cocktails that I can create with this one as well. So I mean, Cotswold Distillery, honestly, they have some very unique styles of products that are just full of flavour. Really,
I bet that's delicious just on ice, right? As well.
Yeah, I mean, we just say, you know, you can have it with tonic, or, you know, create a spritz out of it. So maybe add a splash. I mean, you can actually add a splash of non-alcoholic sparkling wine or something like that, because it is, again, it's 41% alcohol, whereas obviously the April spritz would be about 17%, I believe. So it's a lot more punchier. But they don't mess around at the distillery. I mean, even this gin is 46. So yeah, they've got a good selection of different products.
Wow. And do you know, is the wildflower gin going to make its way to the States as well?
Yeah, absolutely. We're just kind of negotiating the route to market in this country, and then obviously it'll be down to production and how much we can make over to get it onto kind of an international basis. But yeah, it's on the roadmap, absolutely.
And obviously you had a bit of a fork in the, or not a fork in the road, but a bit of a hurdle, as you know, did everything else over the last couple of months.
Yes, yeah. I mean, incredibly, the online sales have been through the roof. It's been a bit like Christmas every day. It's phenomenal.
Wow, that's great. Well, I don't live so far from New York personally, so, you know, soon enough we'll have to take a drive and bring some home. Otherwise, everyone's just going to have to go to the Cotswolds and, you know, pack an extra suitcase to take some home.
Absolutely. And if you forget, you can always get it at duty free.
Oh, right. That is good to know, Deborah. Thank you.
I was very excited. And carried home.
Yeah, beautiful. And Deborah, I had also emailed Ollie about the drink that you concocted in the book for, you know, Deborah's book. It's, you know, as I mentioned to you, she can explain it, of course, but, you know, a British murder mystery. It's kind of centered around this beautiful garden party, a dinner event in your backyard, essentially. And you were describing a couple drinks. Deborah, you want to tell him about your creation?
You know, I don't know where I got the idea for that drink. I must have seen it on a menu, or that it was gin, lime juice, Aperol, and ginger beer. And I actually tried making one last night, and I didn't like it. So maybe Ollie will have some tips.
Yeah, I mean, again, yeah, Aperol, it's got that bitter, but it's really a lovely aperitif. It's, yeah, I mean, it's going to be really to balance that with the amount of citrus you put in. How much of the lime did you put in? Just a squeeze, maybe half a lime or something?
Yeah, about half a lime. Actually, I was fine with the gin Aperol lime juice because I do a lot of cocktails with that profile, but I just was not crazy about the ginger beer.
Okay.
But I think for the scene in the book, I was thinking about something that, you know, could be made in large amounts and, you know, poured from a pitcher and would look pretty because it's a pink drink. And but I think something would do better than the ginger beer.
Maybe ginger ale. That might just be a little less complex. obviously ginger beer has got a, depending on what style or type you have, it's just got that fieriness from the ginger, where ginger ale is quite light on the ginger style. So that might work. I actually make a summer cup with the ginger ale. So that's basically gin, triple sec, and sweet vermouth. And then you top that up with ginger ale, give it a good stir, add all your lovely fruits in there, and citrus, and maybe a couple of dashes of Angostura. But no, I'll have a try. I'll have a try of it. Has it got a name?
I think I just called it the pink drink.
Drink, yeah, nice.
Why not? That's fun. Well, maybe Ollie, you can try, Deborah, you can try the ginger ale, or maybe you can help us with, the percentages. It really is. It's amazing. It's funny. Last month in our book group, we spoke to a woman who makes perfume. And it's funny to hear, talking about the different process, and, it's all science. This is just a very delicious version,
Yeah, but
So.
one you have to negotiate very, very carefully. When, like I explained, when I'm flavor profiling, it's all non-alcoholic flavors until we start to identify the flavors that are going to work, and then we start to incorporate the liqueurs and spirits that will complement it. Because as you can identify, the hazard would be that you have a couple of tastes and that's you done. But
right.
it's probably not advisable. But yeah, with the perfume, we actually work very closely with Joe Malone, and which is an English perfumist, very, very popular. And we do a lot of cocktail profiling with their perfumes. So if they have an event, we basically get the lists of the flavor of the aromas that they're using, and then we convert those into taste. So it's not like spraying perfume in your mouth.
Of course.
It's got the concept of their initiatives through their flavor profiling. Then that can be really good fun, because you come across things like I did one just before Christmas, and they had vetiver grass, which is really popular in India, and they boil it up for about 4 hours and then add sugar syrup with it and just drink it like that. It's really refreshing on a hot day. And vetiver, I'd never used it. It's almost got like not a lemony, peppery flavor profile. So I use that to create some other cocktails for them. So yeah, it's great fun. It really is. It's something that you can really get involved in, and then the end result is creating something that hopefully everybody else will enjoy, because obviously you can't be that subjective on your own palate. A bit like a chef, I suppose. If you don't like mushrooms, but you've got to serve it, you still got to taste the thing. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's good fun.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. That must be an interesting process as well, to play the matching game with the drink and the perfume. Neat.
Yeah. And it's amazing. Sometimes you come across like this, the wildflower. The biggest surprise for me was passion fruit. I never even thought passion fruit would work, but I created a spritz the other day with it, with a bit of passion fruit liqueur, lemon juice topped up with some sparkling rosé, and that was
sounds good.
That sounds great.
That does sound delicious. Very nice.
So watch this space. There's going to be a fair few coming over the summer, I can assure you.
Yeah.
I need a substitute for the English garden cocktail that you made. I need a substitute for apple juice, because I don't have any pressed apple juice.
Yeah, I was going to ask that too.
Yeah,
What do you?
You could go for even some orange, or if you like a slightly less sweeter version, go for grapefruit juice. But you might have to just balance some of the lime juice with that, because obviously you're going to get the bitterness from the grapefruit. But yeah, it's quite a universal mix. The apple juice is better if you can get it from kind of locally pressed rather than concentrate. But if that's all you've got, then it can be enjoyed. I mean, the standout of the show will always be the gin, because of its robustness. At 46%, it kicks everything into touch. yes, you've got the sweetness, yes, you've got the citrus, you've got the liqueur, but the robust flavour is there. It's, as I explained earlier, it was basically just to make this sweeter, so people didn't go, oh, I don't really like gin, because they didn't really have a good enough reason not to like it. So I made them like it by making it a bit sweeter by using the apple juice and the mix with the elderflower and the lime. So yeah, as long as you balance those flavour profiles, it should work really well.
Sounds lovely. I can't wait to try at least my version of it, as, you know, while I wait for the bottle of the Cotswolds.
Yeah. Well, please do. Please involve us, because we love to hear from you guys overseas. So, you know, take a picture and stick it on the socials, and we'll really enjoy seeing you create different versions.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dan, you said the owner, he's from New York. Is he now, he's in the Cotswolds full time?
Yeah. So he came, he spent a bit of time in France, and then he's been over here for about 20 years. And he was lucky enough to have a place in the Cotswolds, a lovely old barn conversion, that amazingly is just down the road from the distillery, you know, probably 2-3 miles away. Because they did look up and down the whole of the Cotswolds to find a distillery, and amazingly, these 2 abandoned buildings were found just down the road. What they converted into the shop and the distillery. And since then, we've got a visitor centre, which is an incredible building that's basically connects the shop, or the old shop, and the distillery. And now you can have a sandwich in there. You can have a gin and tonic. A bit of carrot cake or whatever you like, and shop till you drop. So it's a lovely space now. It's evolved incredibly. So yeah, so Dan basically got the premise and lives just down the road. So yeah, strolling distance really.
I have to say, I brought home from the shop bitters, lavender bitters, and grapefruit bitters, which are fabulous. And
yeah, I mean,
yeah,
you've just got highlights of what's in the gin, and you know, you can accentuate those flavors. They're wonderful because they're so simple. You know, just a simple flavor profile of grapefruit bitters and lavender bitters, and you can squeeze those in your gin and tonic to lift that flavor out, to make it that prominent flavor on the palate. I've even converted the lavender bitters into things like margaritas with the tequila, because lavender and tequila, they work surprisingly well. They have this wonderful aromatic that really complements the lavender. So yeah.
oh, now I have to try that. That's next up.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've even done some cooking with the grapefruit bitters for like jerk chicken and things like that, just to lift a bit more of the citrus flavor out. So yeah, they're quite universal.
And are the bitters, are those yet being shipped to the States, or for now it's just?
I think, yeah, I mean, they're online, but I think they're more of like a shop exclusive. So unfortunately, you have to kind of turn up and get a lot of these. Yeah, a lot of these.
Gotta go.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of the products are starting to get over to suppliers overseas. So hopefully we'll add those in as well, because they're great for cocktail bartenders to accentuate those flavors that are already in the products.
I'm sure, yeah, and I can't get over just how beautiful the drink itself is. You know, once we can have parties again, it'll be really nice to, you know, serve something so pretty to our guests, and, you know, try and replicate our own little garden parties in the backyard. But
yeah, and as I said, you know, I mean, it's really surprising because, you know, like I showed you, you've got, you know, the 1.5 ounce of the gin, and you've also got the 3/4 of the elderflower. So already there, you've got quite a punchy drink. So it's one of those drinks that you can have 2 or 3 and then go, whoa, this garden party is really starting to rock and roll. But you could, as I said, put it in a jug and add a bit more apple in there if you want to. And then when it's ready to serve, stick the ice in, put the garnish in, and it does look really pretty as a universal drink at a party.
beautiful. Well, the perfect name for it as well. I'm sure it must have quite a floral taste from the elderflower, I would imagine.
Yeah, that really lifts that out, and then that carries then the aromatics of the gin. So then it lifts that slight floral note from the lavender that you'll get obviously within the gin. So yeah, it really has this really interesting flavor profile, but again, a relatively simple cocktail to create. So as I said, the standout of the show will always be the gin.
Yeah, no, can't wait to try that. Well, thank you, Ollie. Does anyone have questions for Ollie? Just make sure everyone you're not muted. Anyone have any questions?
Oh, I just wondered if you had talked a little bit about the whiskey, because as I understand it, the gin was just sort of a stopgap until the first batch of whiskey was aged enough.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a fascinating part of the journey at the distillery. So, Dan, passionate about this grain to glass concept, provenance, and from his France experience, they name their regions after the products. We don't seem to have that in England specifically. So he was very passionate about creating this product from the area it's from. So it was all very important that it was local barley, which whiskey is evidently distilled from. So it was very important that we had that from the Cotswolds, and everything was done at the Cotswolds Distillery. So unfortunately, whiskey over here, not like you guys, you can knock your bourbons out in months. We have to follow the very strict Scottish legislation, which is 3 years, a minimum of 3 years. It has to be aged in an oak cask. Now you can use different types of oak. So for our flagship whiskey, we use the first fill bourbons from Tennessee. They come over in huge batches for us. And we also have what we call STRs, which are American oak red wine casks, typically Portuguese, that have been reconditioned, and they've been shaved inside the cask, they've been toasted, and they've been charred, so they've been flamed. And then the new make spirit, the whiskey, goes into those casks as well. So we aged in ex-red wine and bourbon cask. And then after maturation, after those 3 years, we marry those two flavors together. And you've got this wonderful flagship single malt, which has elements of tannin-rich malt, almost honey notes. It's got that influence from the bourbon as well, so a slight sweetness, kind of Seville orange marmalade citrus. So they basically created that. So that was the dream and the passion, but it would take 3 years. So as much as we'd like to sit around drinking cups of tea, we weren't going to get away with it. So Dan said, let's make a gin. And we only had a 500 litre still, which basically you could do comfortably about 10,000 bottles a year. Nice, we'll get to work on creating a gin. It was very important that, because this was our first ever product to market, Cotswolds Distillery, we had to get this one right. Because if we didn't, who would believe that we can make a good whiskey? So this took about 5 months of research and development. And the guys, the distillers, they had to create a flavor library. So they distilled 160 individual botanicals on their 1 litre still. So put alcohol in the still, boiled it up, and put the botanical in. Like it could be angelica root, it could be orris root. It could be anything from the botanical selection. So we created a flavour library, and then just started adding flavours to the base of a London Dry, which is typically juniper, coriander, angelica root, and also a citrus, which was traditionally a lemon, and that's basically Gordon's. So you have a base, which is a London Dry. It doesn't have to come from London. It's just a specific set of botanicals and processes. So we came up with the Cotswolds Dry, 9 botanicals, and then basically got that into some very unique places, very high-end profile, like Harrods. We were able to access Fortnum and Masons, Harvey Nicks and Selfridges, and then local. And then boom, we hit the wave at the right time. And back in 2014 in England, the gin revolution was happening. And we caught that wave just right. And what originally was going to be about business model of about 10,000 bottles now is about 250,000. So,
Wow.
that in itself. And I remember having the conversation with Dan when I first met him. I said, would you have ever believed that you'll be known for gin, when you set out to be the purveyor of an English whiskey? And he's like, nope, did not believe it. And here it is today, and it can be enjoyed all around the world. And it's still as fantastic as it was. And as I mentioned earlier, they're still hand peeling the fruit, which to me is madness, absolute madness. Because when they peel the fruit, obviously you have the lovely citrus flesh. You also have this bitter pith. So the guys, they have to literally peel it so gently to not get that pith, that bitterness. And as I said, to do over 100 every week is incredible. And then what do we do with the naked fruit? Because obviously we believe in sustainability. Well, we give it away in the shops, or we've got a couple of local caterers around us that use it for chutneys, which is a great thing. And obviously I use it in my cocktails for juicing. So it's an incredible story from start to as we carry on.
Whiskey is lovely too.
I mean, it's for me. I mix it down with some as an old fashioned. So rather than obviously using a bourbon, you use the single malt, and I use a little bit of maple syrup, just a very small amounts, kind of 5-10 milliliters, and just stir that down with the whiskey, and then put some orange bitters in there, and that's my go-to cocktail every time.
Delicious.
It's absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely
I
gorgeous.
love a good old fashioned.
Me too. So it's an incredible product, the whiskey, and they've since made 5 other SKUs, 5 other different styles of the single malts, and that will be going on for the foreseeable future.
Are those available in the US now?
The Founder's Choice, yes, which is just from the ex-red wine cask, so no influence from the bourbon cask. And this gives you a real rich, sophisticated style of single malt. No messing around. It's spice, it's red fruits. Obviously, because the cask has been reconditioned, it's got that char lift as well on the palate. We also don't dilute it. So most whiskies get diluted with water to take it down to a palatable proof, as you would say. We call it the ABV, alcohol by volume. So we would say 46% alcohol, which I suppose is about 80 proof for you guys, is about a palatable, kind of sipping spirit. But this one is 61% alcohol. So so that's quite a lot. But we class that as cask strength. So cask strength. So we don't basically dilute it. It comes straight out the cask. So it's a real rich bodied style of single malt. You probably would want to add a little bit of water to it. I know I do, just to reduce that kind of spice that you get from the alcohol. So you can explore some more of the flavors.
I belong to the Scotch Whiskey Society, so you get cask strength.
Yeah. So you're kind of accustomed to knowing that you kind of negotiate what you can tolerate, because everybody's palate's different. And I always kind of go against all of this. Don't do this to whiskey. Don't do that to whiskey. I say, it's your whiskey. You paid whatever you want for it. You enjoy it. If you want it with a splash of Coke or whatever, just enjoy it, because that's what it's made for.
Well, I can't wait to try them. I look forward to doing it in person, where I imagine there's all sorts of tastings that the distillery conducts. And
yeah. Well, put the shout out. I'll come over to you guys when we got the planes back on.
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
Just have a word with Dan, and I'll come right over.
We'll do that. That would be great. Or maybe we'll have one of our little meetings, our retreat meetings. We'll have it in the Cotswolds. Either way. But I was going to say, you'd mentioned, the hand peeling of the fruit. And my husband and I, this year before Christmas, we made orange cello, I have some
lovely.
Italian family friends, and they had given us one of their recipes, and we only did, I think it was 6 big oranges, but it was pretty laborious, you know. So
Yeah.
you must have
It's-
quite the team.
As I said, you know, for me, it's you know, back in the early days when we didn't have a huge production staffing. I even did it. You know, I even went up. I'd have a day where I didn't particularly have a lot going on, so I'd just go up and help the research and development guys. And yeah, as you said, you're there and you're like, my God, I got another 50 to go. But we've got the systems in place now. We've got the guys. We want to run a fantastic production line, and you know they go. Obviously, we don't have one person on it every time, so it'll kind of be the guy sat down at the table having a chat and peeling the fruit. So yeah, it's quite a laborious task. And
Yeah.
as I said, not many distilleries will do it because of that reason. It's just not something that you can ramp up on production. There's no machine out there. Yes, there's those spiral spritzers or the spiral peelers, but they don't. You need about an inch, you know, just over an inch or so of peel, because if you have just a small thin, it'll just be obliterated in the alcohol, in the boiling alcohol. So that's why you need quite a large amount in its surface area. So yeah, it's a very unique way of doing it. And of course, this then accentuates the flavor profile. As we don't filter the oils, you're going to get those supercharged, you know, when all the alcohol is boiling away, all that vapor is supercharged with all of that lovely selection of botanicals. And of course, the citrus is going to just be bucket loads, and it's going to zing and zip out of the still, and you could smell it, and the aromas are fantastic. And then they capture that in the bottle, so they don't filter it. So it's just a gorgeous way of doing a gin. And as I said, very unique because it's not something you can ramp up, unfortunately, or substitute.
Right. Well, I'm sure it's delicious, and even just the packaging and the marketing is so pretty. The way that
Yeah, and the reason why they chose a dark bottle is because, again, the oils when the product goes down, I don't know whether you could see it in here, but when the product goes down to about 4 degrees, you will get this louche effect, this pearlescent effect. I don't know whether you guys get it on there.
Oh yes, it almost reminds me of ouzo. When ouzo.
Exactly, yeah, like a pastis.
Absinthe.
Yeah, exactly, because that's exactly the process they don't have. So you got this lovely cloudy, pearlescent. It's actually called the louche effect, and it's basically just the oils emulsifying. And most distilleries filter that out. They get rid of it. They don't want it because it doesn't highlight purity. But if this product, as you can see, goes down to a low temperature, it'll go cloudy. So if you're in the superstore or whatever, and you saw a cloudy gin next to a pure clear gin, you'd go, hey, there's something wrong with that. So that's why they chose the dark bottle. And these actually were olive oil bottles. They're from Italy, these ones. So yeah, that was the whole concept behind the bottle. And as you said, it's won a couple of awards. It's even won in San Francisco, the Spirit Awards, the International Wine and Spirits competition. Would you believe we've lost points on the louche effect because it's not traditionally the way gin should be?
Really? And I saw even on the website, aren't you guys marketing it as the cloudy gin? I saw that as one of the advertisements.
Yeah, we found that's really our unique selling point. That's the conversation. If you're in a bar and you see someone with a cloudy gin and tonic, we know it's a Cotswolds gin and tonic, and then hopefully people will want to explore it. And it's kind of a unique way. And it was probably when we first started, certainly a year and a half into it, was probably the most asked question we got. Why does the gin go cloudy? And we got people kind of emailing us, the gin's gone cloudy.
Yeah.
No, it's fine, it's supposed to. So yeah, it's basically like you ever have like a cloudy lemonade? It's got that kind of effect to it. That kind of the lovely, I don't know, kind of handcrafted feel to it.
Right. Very nice. Well, I'm very excited to try it. Deborah, you're lucky. Whomever else, I think Melissa has hers. She's lucky. Everyone can go have a glass of exactly this shortly.
A nice way to spend Sunday afternoon, especially if you've been gardening, which I have.
Yeah.
Oh, have you? Oh, you must deserve a gin and tonic then.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Sure. Where are you? I'm gonna try and put
This is Erin.
Erin here.
Hi, Aaron.
Here.
Hiya.
So, one of my favorite aromas is lilac, and I finally discovered that lilac is edible. And so I made a beautiful lilac syrup a couple weeks ago.
Wow.
And I was wondering what you thought about pairing it or using it in this specific drink, or just kind of mixing another drink with it.
Yeah.
Yum.
So how did you make it? Did you put quite a lot of? Is it a cordial or a syrup?
It's a syrup. So I made, it was a cup of water, a cup of sugar, and then I put about 2 cups worth of lilac blooms in there and simmered it for about 25 minutes or so, and then filtered the blooms out.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, absolutely use that as part of your sweet and sour mix. So often with our balance, when we're creating a sour mix that works in so many different cocktails, even a lovely gin Ricky or a gin fizz, which is basically gin, lemon or lime, and then you sugar syrup, and then you just top that up with soda, and it's just delicious. Real long drink, delicious, refreshing long drink. So basically, just use that one and go. I usually go about half of the sour. So when you've got your sour mix, just find out what works for you best. But I tend, for the rule of the thumb, I'll do kind of 25 ml of the sour, and then I'll do about 12.5 to 15 of the sweet, just depending on obviously how much sugar's in it as such. So definitely introduce that to something that's long and refreshing. So something you can control how sweet it is to how sour it is by obviously extending the soda or the citrus, which I often do. As I said earlier, I try and stay away from the sugar. I always find it's just a bit obvious on the palate. I like to explore maybe agave or a honey as well, but that would be a really interesting flavor profile, one that I haven't actually tried before. So you've inspired me to.
There you go. Yeah.
Awesome.
Inspired me to look that one up. What color is it?
It's actually kind of like a tan. It doesn't really come out the lilac purple like you would think because of the other parts. I got all the blooms and was real careful about picking out all even the bottom part of the stems. But it's kind of more of like a tan. It's not,
yeah.
not really purple.
They do, unfortunately. Like this one is the elderflower. And obviously because you've steeped the elderflower in alcohol, it's degraded the enzymes of the flower, so it actually goes to almost a vegetation state. So what you have to do is just make sure that you don't steep it in there for long enough. It's different when you're making cordials because it's not as volatile, obviously, with water and boiling it, but alcohol often it does make it a tan. I made the other day some gorse cordial, and that was great fun because I've got gorse bushes just up on the hill, so I went for a long walk. And if you actually follow us on Facebook, Cotswolds Distillery, I've actually just put it up, my little foraging around the Cotswolds. So I managed to find some gorse flower, hawthorn flower, dandelion, and some elderflower. So it's great fun. Obviously, we're allowed to go out for long walks at the moment, so I may as well try and marry those together with alcohol.
Right. Perfect.
I have one thing to ask Oliver, if that's okay.
Sure.
Yes.
Is that Divya? Here you
Hi,
are.
yeah, it's Divya.
Hi.
Hi, Oliver. Thanks
Hiya.
for enlightening me about gin. I've never been a big fan, but now I'm super excited to go try some. Yeah. But then I'm a big fan of tequila, and I got really excited when you mentioned tequila. So I wanted to ask you if you have like a recipe that you can quickly share that's other than a margarita, something that
Yeah.
I could try.
So, yeah, other than a margarita, I mean, that's the go-to, isn't it, for most? I mean, amazingly, mine's actually my favorite tequila drink would be the Tommy's Margarita, which is basically just tequila, lime, and a bit of agave, and you drink that over ice. So I don't add the triple sec touch. And that would really be my go-to tequila. But you know, again, it's a fantastic spirit. You can really work it well with many flavor profiles, and you know, get something that's from that region. You know, lime works incredibly well with it, so that would always be my go-to for a tequila drink. Unfortunately, we don't make it, but I have actually suggested to the distillers that we should perhaps purchase some tequila casks and age the whiskey in those tequila casks. I think that would be an incredible you know, style of whiskey that would come out of that one. But yeah, so tequila drinks, you know, mine would be the Tommy's Margarita, just in its simplicity, you know, bringing out the profile of the tequila more than anything.
Yeah, we'll definitely give it a try. And I'm super excited about Cotswolds gin as well. I'll see if I can get my hands on that. Thank you.
Definitely. Because you guys, you didn't really have the gin revolution over there, did you? It was you guys like vodka, don't you, more than gin?
I don't know. I think that, you know, the revolution you're talking about, I think it did make its way here.
Yeah.
Oh, I think so. Definitely. Definitely gin is the big thing here now.
Yes.
Fantastic.
And you know, it's funny you mentioned Tommy's Margarita. That's what I drink all the time, but in California, like Divya, where you live, I think they call it a skinny margarita on the West Coast, at least. I think so, without the simple syrup and without the, you know, the fake stuff. But very tasty. So yeah, I would love to try that in the tequila cask.
Yeah, I just add a little tequila, lime juice, and a little either Cointreau, or I like Creole Shrub, which is a slightly spicy. It's a New Orleans. It's a slightly spicier and less sweet orange liqueur.
Yeah, because you can get some Creole bitters as well that you can put into your drinks, which works really well. A delicious additional flavor. Yeah,
lavender bitters is another thing that I would love to try. That kind of spiked my curiosity.
Yeah, well, lavender bitters, as I said, brings out the aromatics of the tequila. The other one, the other tequila drink that again would be my go-to. Now, I don't know if you have it over there, but we have yeah, you must have. It's Soho House Group, which is a private members club.
Yes.
We have one just in the Cotswolds, the Soho Farmhouse. David Beckham lives just down the road from it in the Cotswolds. Beautiful place. Anyway, they create something called the Picante della Casa. Picante, hot and spicy della Casa in the house. And that's their house tonic. And it's the most incredible tequila drink. It's basically tequila, and you just slice about 3 thin slices of jalapeno or chili, and then just gently muddle them into the tequila, because you don't want to release too much of the heat, the oils from the chili. And then you add coriander leaf, and then a balance between the lime and agave, a sour mix, and then shake that up and just pour that straight over ice. And that really, without doubt, is one of the most incredible tequila drinks I've ever tried.
Fabulous.
Oh, I'm going to try that.
Yeah.
That's totally up my alley. I mean, coriander, jalapeno. Yeah.
Perfect.
You do 60 ml. Usually a good aged tequila works better rather than a new one. And 60 ml of the tequila, so that would be what, two fluid ounces for you guys. And then obviously balance with sour mix. But as I said, it's just Moorish. Chili just ignites the palate and makes you just want to knock back a few. In fact, I might have one tonight.
Yeah.
After my Cotswold garden, of course.
Yeah, there you go. It's getting watered down quick. Yeah, the spicy margarita I have seen a lot here, but not with the coriander. So that sounds lovely too.
Yeah. So it's, yeah, as I said, the house tonic. It was actually invented in Soho House in Hollywood,
Okay.
as their house tonic. So now it's in everyone around the world. So yeah, I would definitely go for that one.
Wow.
Is the distillery back in production after the? I mean, were you shut down?
Yes, incredibly, we haven't stopped. We're classed as agricultural industry from production point of view, and we were allowed to keep production going. Although we did limit it, obviously, to keep the staff safe. But we were able to distill. We usually distill twice a day. But now we're only distilling one, or have done since the lockdown, and we're still bottling because we do all our bottling in-house and labelling all in-house as well. So we've managed to keep production going, and as I mentioned earlier, it has been a bit like Christmas Day every day for the online orders, which has been incredible, absolutely incredible.
That's great. Well, yeah, I mean, for a lot of people, you're an essential business. So
yeah, I mean, hey, I don't make the rules.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's always a part of me that's a little bit cynical about the industry as a whole. But you know, you pay taxes, and it's quite a huge subsidy for the economy versus, unfortunately, the health of persons and people. But that's the industry we're in, and we try and offer the best responsible drinking, and making sure that people know that it is a toxin, it is a drug, if you like. But I don't want to get too serious about that. So
no, you were great.
The tour that I did of the distillery was so lovely, and I was driving, so I couldn't taste. So they sent me little plastic tubs, and of all the different things that I wanted to try, and then I got to take them back to my hotel room that night, and then just sip from the little plastic cups.
Oh, how nice.
And they wrote on them what they were, so you didn't forget. Brilliant. Yeah, it's a good way. It just keeps everyone inclusive. It's a nice thing to do.
Yeah, it looks like such a beautiful venue as well. So I'm sure the whole experience is incredible.
Yeah, and do you know what, guys? They've just I think on Sunday, I think yesterday, they just put on Facebook a virtual tour, like a 3D tour.
Oh.
So I actually went on it. I miss it that much. I went on and had a look around the shop and the distillery. So yeah, go onto that and have a look. It's incredible what they've done. It's a bit like Google Maps, but in the distillery. You can have a good look around and find out. Because when did you actually come to the distillery?
Let's see. I wasn't. Must have been autumn of 2018 and then autumn of 2017.
Oh yeah. So you wouldn't have seen the visitor centre. So yeah,
it was under construction. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So that's an incredible space now, and you can even blend your own whiskey up in the mezzanines and blend your own gin. So they make a great day out. You can go and do all that as an addition to the tour.
That must be fun.
Yeah, it's great fun. Yeah.
It's so pretty. I mean, the countryside is just so beautiful there.
Yeah, I mean, we're very lucky. Every day when I take my dog out for a run or a walk, you get to go to some beautiful places. And it doesn't, you just don't get bored of it. You just stand up on the hills looking at the world go by, and it's a beautiful, beautiful place. Very, very lucky. And I think I've noticed it more since obviously the last weeks that we've been locked down at home. You don't have much time to appreciate it, but we certainly have over the last month or so. So yeah, very, very blessed by.
Beautiful. Well, Ollie, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your demonstration. Can't wait to go there. I'm sure many of us will be joining you in person as soon as we can. And,
magic.
helping get those orders. They're already up, but we'll we'll contribute to that as well.
Yeah, please do. But it's been my absolute pleasure. What a fantastic end to a day. So thank you very much for having me. And I've learned a little bit as well, so I'm happy with that. And I hope you've taken something from it today as well. And as I said, give us a shout out. Make a mock of this, or try the gin, because as I said, we love to hear from you guys over the seas to see what you get up to with our product.
Absolutely. And I'm going to find the virtual tour and I'll post it in the book group as well, so it's easily accessible to everyone. And yeah, I've got to go find some flowers. I don't have the viola flowers, but I'll find something and we'll post some nice photos.
Make sure they're edible.
Yes.
And I'm going to have a little play around with the April gin and ginger beer cocktail.
Please let us
Oh, yeah.
I shall let you know how I get on. Yeah,
Yes.
I'll let you know how I get on.
Yes, and it's a wonderful book, and especially for you being there, I'm sure you'd really enjoy it. And let us know what you come up with.
And with regards to the book, is there a launch day or?
Oh, it was launched in last October, so it's been out so half a year.
Wow.
Paperback will be out next November.
Fantastic. And how long have you been writing?
Oh, 25 years, more than that. This is the 18th book in the series.
Incredible. And is it following the same theme, like Midsummer Murders type of thing?
Actually, my detectives are London-based, but every so often, this was a kind of a busman's holiday book, so needed to get them out of London for a country weekend. Actually, there's another book set in Scotland that revolves around whiskey distilling, which is why I know about whiskey distilling. So you might enjoy that one too. It's called Now May You Weep.
Okay.
Speyside.
And with regards to over here, what's your inspiration? Are you have you visited or lived in England or the UK?
I've lived in Scotland and in Cheshire. Actually, I lived in Edinburgh and I lived in Cheshire. And I'm from Texas, obviously, but I love British crime novels and everything British. And after we moved back to the States, I missed it so much. I thought, I'm going to write a book. I want to see if I can write a British mystery. And that I wrote it and I sold it, and that was in 1993. I've been doing it ever since.
Incredible, absolutely incredible. And who were your inspirations? Dick Francis?
T.D. James, Reginald Hill, Ian Rankin, just all the whole British mysteries.
Incredible. And what's the one in the pipeline?
It doesn't have an official title yet, and it's set in London and Bloomsbury. So I got my detectives back in the home base for this one, but I missed the Cotswolds. I made 3 trips to the Cotswolds for the research on A Bitter Feast, and I loved it so much. And now I need another excuse to come back.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, definitely come and see us.
Yeah, and Ollie, next week, I know you're probably busy, but if you've got time to speed read between now and then, it is a page turner. Deborah's joining us for the official month's meeting, like this, on Zoom. So
that's on the 30th.
More information. Yes, the 31st, I think.
31st.
A week from today, same time.
Okay.
Maybe the 30th. I don't know. A week from today, right?
The 31st, I think you said. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my wife is she reads books like there's no end to them really. So I'll certainly point her, and she can. She reads them so quickly. It'll take me months to read a book.
They're all available on Kindle in the UK. So if she reads
on Amazon. Yeah, incredible.
She should join our gang.
Yeah,
Fun international group.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
And how many's in your group?
So the group now, it's relatively new and it's been growing, like wildfire. I think this week there's about 1,300. So
wow.
yeah, so everyone else, you know, that couldn't join today to see this, I'll put the video on so they can watch it. But yeah, it's a really fun and engaged group of, I think, like 99.9% women from all over the world. Mostly
That's
America,
lovely.
but all over.
Yeah, incredible, incredible. Well, it's been a
idea.
wonderful experience. It's been a wonderful experience. It's been an absolute joy to meet you all, and thank you so much for your questions as well. I
Oh,
always
thank
enjoy
you
a
so
bit of
much.
interaction.
Thank you so much for your time.
Been delightful. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Most welcome.
Awesome. Thank you.
This was
been
awesome. Thank
great.
you.
Thank you, Ollie.
Thank you.
Okay, then, guys, I'll say goodbye,
Yeah.
and I'll get to work on that cocktail, the bitter taste of the cocktail.
Thank you.
Have you write the book?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
definitely.
Okay,
That's
bye,
right.
everybody.
Anyway.
Thank you so
Bye,
much.
bye.
Bye.
Love you, UK.
Bye.
Love from the Cotswolds. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
See you. Thank you. Bye.